let's get started. Thank you everyone for joining us on our monthly Q&A session. I hope you guys will all find it insightful. A little bit of housekeeping before we get started. If you could ask questions, we want this to be a forum for yourselves to be able to find out anything you need to give yourself the confidence to get started and make that career change or upskill yourself. So feel free to fire as many questions as you want at the panel. If you could put those questions in the Q&A section at the bottom of your browser, that will really help us to be able to make sure we can get to as many questions as we can. We're joined by 3 of my colleagues who all have different roles in the team. But before we get started, I'd love just to get a bit of insight of who's here and what they're looking to get out of it. So if we could just ping up a poll, if that's all right, just to get us started, and if you guys could all answer that and give us the answers. First one, just around your motivations, and then have you attended one of our webinars before, and just what you're looking to get out of it would be really useful. And that can start giving us some insights into where we direct our answers and hopefully give you guys as many insights as we can. While that's uploading, we could just quickly go around the room if you want and just do a quick intro. Chris, do you want to kick us off in terms of your role?
Yeah, hello there. I'm Chris. I'm role manager within the tech team, so such as cybersecurity, data, cloud computing, software development, that side of things. Yeah, been about just under 4 years now as well. Looking forward to seeing what sort of questions we have.
Perfect. Sophie?
Hi, I'm Sophie. I work in the career services team. So my role is predominantly supporting students land their job off the back of their certifications. I've been in the company about just over a year now, but I've done sort of similar roles where I've supported people into work, particularly sort of project management and tech focused. And I work alongside 2 colleagues, which, yeah, we're a really, really helpful team, and we're looking forward to hopefully meeting some of you guys soon.
Perfect. And Vita?
I'm Vita. I am the senior student care consultant. Worked at Learning People for 2 years now, across various different roles. But essentially my job now is to support students throughout their learning journey, make sure that they're on track to completing everything, supporting them in study planning, checkings, booking exams, and everything in between.
Perfect. Thank you. So interestingly, we have a full house of first-time webinar attendees, which is exciting. So hopefully some nice questions from yourselves in terms of what you're looking to get out of it. We've got a real split between our project management and tech, so and data. So we've got people from all different areas on that, which is exciting, and we'll try our best to cover off as many of those areas as possible. And as always, everyone's looking for slightly different motivations. So we've got people who are wanting better salary, a lot of people who want career progression, 40% of viewers talking about that. And also work-life balance, which we know is, the last 5-6 years, has been a huge shift in the industry. So hopefully we can give you some light on as many of those topics as we can. Should we get started on the questions, if that's all right? So we had a question come in, and this was from Amara, who currently works shift work. Job is demanding. Can I still study with you even though they're working shift work? So I think, Vita, if you could cover that off for us, and because you're working with other students who are in that situation.
Yeah, well, short answer, yes, you absolutely can. The studying is flexible, so it's self-paced online learning, meaning that you can technically study wherever, whenever you like, as long as you've got a working computer or laptop with internet connection. Essentially, what we do in our role is support you in kind of setting up a really good plan in the first place. So just making sure that you have got the time set aside to study. How that actually looks alongside your other commitments will actually help you with drawing up a study timetable, really visualizing your goals. And there's also a little calculator that we work through that's just going to help you actually really picture kind of when your completion date is going to be versus how much you can study. And we have loads and loads of different students, so varying from shift pattern workers, full-time workers, stay-at-home parents, even, and yeah, loads of people looking for different things in their career. So yeah, we are flexible around you, essentially.
Perfect. And I think 80% of our students are in full-time employment or are employed at some level, so are working through that and juggling their time. Chris, anything you want to add on that?
Yeah, I think I can only really echo there. Most of the people that we speak to have got busy lives, really, whether it's work, it could even be children, families. When you speak to student care and that first initial call about that study plan session, it's definitely when you can see that it is doable. You know, with these people get qualified in a matter of months. We're not talking years and years. So there's always opportunity there as long as you're able to put a little bit of time in.
Perfect. So we'll try and answer questions as we go along, but if we go on to the next question, if that's all right, that was sent through when you guys registered. So Matteo sent one in for us. My friend has recommended that I do a single course, but Learning People has recommended a full pathway of courses. Why is that? Chris, could you cover that one for us? Actually, you're on the front line of enrollments.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a question we get asked quite a lot, to be honest with you. It really depends on where the student is. For some students, yeah, a single course is enough. For others who are looking to get themselves professionally qualified to higher levels, this is where they're going to have to take more than one course, perhaps 3, maybe 4 qualifications. This is why the initial consultation is so important. It's to get an understanding about what their goals are, where their skill sets lie. So it's tailored to the individual. But yeah, we have some students that do just enroll in one, and other students enroll multiple. It really depends on what they want to do.
Yeah. And Victoria, you've just put a question up there, which I think is we can slightly dovetail between the two. How do Learning People's tech courses align with current industry certifications? We have a director of education here who works really closely across all industry to making sure that the pathways and the certifications are lined up. We know, and Sophie could probably speak to this from a career services perspective, that the pathways and having relevant certifications and stacking them on top of each other just adds value every time. So that's why we have a pathway. But our director of education works with all the industry bodies. We are part of the UK Cybersecurity Council. We also work with with PMI on the project management side of things to make sure that the certifications are really relevant. So I hope that helps and answers that question for you there. If we go on to the next question, if that's all right. So, Sophie, Layla, this is aimed straight at you, I reckon. Will I be able to get a job with no experience?
So I guess the short answer to that is yes. Most of our students that come to us often say, I've got no experience, I've got no transferable skills, I've never done cybersecurity before, I've never done project management before. Actually, one of the first things we do is unpick that, because I have no doubt that you will have experience. Even if you haven't worked before, you will have experience in something. And we talk a lot about transferable skills. We know employers look a lot around what have you done before and how can you relate that to a current role. So the short answer is yes, absolutely, you can get a job with no experience. Most of our students have no experience in their new field, and we talk a lot about career changes. What we find with people going through that career change is, particularly if you've done studies, you've not just woken up and thought, yeah, I'm going to go and apply for that job because it looks okay. Actually, you've invested in your career, you've got your certifications, and this is something that's in line with your long-term career goals. So one of the very first things we do in career services is we have a conversation with you. We unpick what you've done, whether or not that's directly linked to the pathway that you're doing, and then we link it to your new career search or whatever that looks like. But yeah, I mean, we've had people that are newly fresh out of sort of uni, fresh out of college, that have gone straight into entry level positions. We've got someone that hadn't worked at all before and is currently working at the Royal Household, which is fantastic. And then we've had other people that have gone from being a bus driver and in project management. So they're just a couple of examples of people that tell me they have no experience, but trust me, that you do have experience. It's just around unpicking it.
Definitely, and you're right. I mean, 60 to 70% of the students that enroll with us are career changers. They won't have that specific experience in inverted commas within that industry. But as you pointed out there, we've got so many success stories of people who've come in, learned the skills, and our pathways, what Chris was talking about earlier, the pathways are designed for people with no experience to give them the ground up ability to be able to go and find a role. And then obviously the work with Vita as you're studying and her team, as well as Sophie working through there. So really super confident that we're able to support people properly who don't have that experience. And as you said, Sophie, they have way more experience and skills than people even realize. We hear it all the time. I've not done this, I don't have that. So
if I can add something to that as well. One of the fantastic features we have on our platform, which is called Precipio, we have something called practice labs as well. Now, of course, it's all well and good learning things in the academic sense, but with these practice labs, you're given a variety of tasks that reflect that of exactly what you would do in the actual workplace environment. again, all of these, you are pushing those things into the task-based experience and all referenceable as well. So really, really useful stuff on that.
Perfect. Before we move on to the next slide and question that was sent in, I think it was an AI question off memory, so it might be a good time to put up just another poll, just to see. We're always intrigued by this one, sort of where everybody on the call's knowledge around AI is. So if you could just put your answers in there, and we can pull up the next slide, if that's all right, while the answers are coming in. So Luca was asking, and this is a question we get asked all the time: how has AI affected jobs in tech and project management? Chris, do you want to kick us off on that one?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think anyone here can deny that AI has made an impact in all jobs, not just tech and project management. I think I read it quite recently. I was on a gov.uk statistic. It's around 32% of employers now are looking for people with AI skills for AI specific roles. So it's certainly made an impact in all areas. One of the, particularly with the tech side of things, is the fact that we need to learn to work alongside AI. At the end of the day, like areas like data analysis, AI wouldn't exist if it wasn't for things like data. So it's it's something we're going to work with, and I think it's going to do nothing but grow.
Yeah, and we've made that shift, and I think it's ahead of a lot of other education providers at the moment. Of vast majority of our pathways will have AI part of that learning, and there's actually certifications that we've built into the pathways, so to differentiate yourself. So there'll be people who might be getting some courses, there might be some certifications out there, but being able to then couple that in with how do you use AI in your job is really important. We were talking to project managers the other day about being able to build a risk log. You can use AI to build the risk log, but you still need to be able to understand the project and the methodologies that fit into that risk log. So it's pulling them all together. So, but it's definitely, obviously, is becoming a huge part and will continue to. But we also get a question a lot of, is it going to take our jobs? Is that going to be a risk for us? The only risk that you're going to find if you are not learning how to use AI effectively in your job. That's the only risk you have to the job market for yourselves as individuals when you're doing that. So interestingly, we had quite a mix, but almost 60% of you have got your AI knowledge is a bit, and I think that's fair. I think people are starting to dabble in it, but there's so many tools and opportunities out there to be able to leverage off it. And Sophie, speaks about it in some of their master classes that if you enroll with us, you will get access to with career services around being able to use AI effectively in your job search, which I think is the first step in that journey of being able to bring it into your day-to-day work.
Yeah, we talk about it a lot in all aspects of career services now. I think echo what Chris and Gareth has said is you're seeing it a lot in job descriptions. So often students will come to us and say, oh, now they're asking for AI. And actually a lot of the time when it comes to applying for jobs and using AI, people think it's a barrier. So they'll often say, I don't want to use ChatGPT to help me with my CV or whatever. Actually now 70% of employers are expecting to see that applicants understand AI when applying for jobs. And actually what a lot of our guidance is it's not around relying on AI, it's how can you use AI to stand out. And we know, in the last 6 months, slightly longer, AI has become huge. But if you can understand it in your job application, that is ultimately what is going to get you to that interview. And then if they're asking to say, basic understanding on AI or whatever that is in that job description, being able to show that you've done it as part of your application works hand in hand. So it is very much our guidance. We've updated it all in the last sort of few months to very much tailor it towards how can you use AI to enhance your application, but not see it as a barrier, which lots of people currently do think it's a bit of a barrier, but it certainly isn't if it's used in the right way.
Definitely. And this is part of the services we try and bring to all our students. At the heart of what we're trying to do is to make sure that you're getting the outcomes you want. Some of you talked about career progression. Some of you were talking about better salaries and flexibility. All these elements that we have from the first moment you're with us enhances that whole piece, and AI just fits into that really, really well. Nina's asked a couple of questions, so I thought I'll just come to those. In terms of how long the certification of a pathway takes, it does vary on which pathway you're going on, as well as, to Vita's point, what your study plan and call looks like. The quicker and more effort, it's self-paced online learning, right? So the more effort you want to put into that, and the more time you can allocate, the quicker that will be. In terms of some of our partnerships, the pathways that we want our students to go on to, and hopefully some of you will enroll with us on, are designed for the partnerships of the employers that we work with. So you touched on one, Ministry of Justice or all the different organizations we work with. We're not putting you into pathways and getting you enrolled on courses that are not going to give you the best opportunity to get into our partnerships that we've got with employers. So anything that you're being recommended will align to those types of partnerships and going from there. Great. Next question, if that's all right. So slightly covered that a little bit for you, Vita, there, but Chloe was asking, how long will it take to pass my first exam? And hopefully, Nina, this will answer some of it for you. Vita, could you grab that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, it is really based on how much time you have set aside to study, and depending on what pathway you're studying as well. So some of our project management certifications are slightly shorter, which means that they will get maybe exam ready a little faster, depending again on their study plan. That said, I've had students who have completed a full data pathway within a matter of a month or two, and they get to their first certification in that time frame because they've got more time to set aside to study. So generally, we say the best kind of amount of time to set aside if you are working full time, which a lot of our students are, we say about 10 to 15 hours per week, which boils down to about 2 to 3 hours a day. If you are consistent with that, you will absolutely see results within a matter of months. And yeah, we'll support you in getting ready for your exam as well. So on the platform, we've got some test prep, we've got live classes that will help you, really understand the structure, and hopefully be successful in your first attempt. And even in the unlikely event that you weren't, we have measures in place to support you in getting that resit booked. So I appreciate that was a bit wishy-washy, but essentially it is very based on kind of how much you can study. But yeah, in answer, it can take months if you are willing to kind of put the work in and put those hours aside.
Yeah, and some of the project management courses, people have completed them in 2 to 3 weeks. That first bit of coursework before they're going into the exam scenario. So again, it does vary a little bit around which pathway you're on. Chris, is there anything you want to add in terms of that around getting people to exams and that piece?
Yeah, I mean, it really does come down to individual. I can only echo what Vita and yourself are saying. We have spoken briefly about him before, with a student called Louis, which was the data, which I'm sure Vita's probably referring to, so a student like Louis. I mean, he actually hadn't even got to completing his data qualification and actually moved into a data role. So it's not only focus on the exams, focus on the experience, working with career services, working with student care, and at the end of the day, you've got the exams, but also you want to see that there's the light at the end of the tunnel, the role. So focus on that side of things as well.
We've also, the big part there, Chloe, from that question was about passing the first exam. I think it's all good and well getting to an exam, but if you don't pass it, that's sort of it'll knock you back and knock your confidence. That's why a lot of the pathways we offer, you get unlimited resits on exams. And some of the project management is you do get at least 1 or 2 resits, which guarantee. So all those areas is because we want people to pass, right? That's the main objective that we're trying to get to, because once you start getting those certifications under your belt, our probability to place you and go through the career services world is much higher. So speed, really important, but making sure you pass, equally important. Otherwise, you're starting back again, and we want to make sure that people are getting to those exams. So thank you for that great question. Next one, if that's all right. So this is from Rajesh. He was asking, what's the best time to apply for a job? Sophie Barnes, I reckon you could take that one.
I mean, there is a different time. I mean, whenever you pass an exam, you'll qualify for career services, and we will support you. Having said that, there are obviously times of the year which are far better to apply for job. We know that the market is better. January, there's a huge recruitment drive, so particularly people that are looking to enroll at the moment. Thinking about timeframes with what Vita and Chris and Gareth has said, if you can pass that exam within the first 2 months, actually you're going to be well equipped to be part of that recruitment drive. And we see lots and lots of more opportunities in January being added, particularly within project management, particularly within the tech world. And actually we would be working with you to kind of be part of that. You've got access to obviously Leap Careers, which is on our website, which is often getting added jobs. But in our last recruitment drive, we saw a huge influx of jobs being added during that time. So I think I don't ever, we know that January, April, and September, there's always recruitment. There's always a real drive in those areas. Having said that, from a career services point of view, we will always listen to kind of your goals and objectives. And if you say to us you want to be in a job by end of December, then we would work with you to reach that goal. But certainly for people enrolling now, you're in a fantastic opportunity to be part of that recruitment drive in January, I would say.
Yeah, and I can't echo enough. I've been with Learning People 3 years, and before that, my career was all within the recruitment industry. So I was there for 16 years, and there was one of my favorite weeks of the year was coming back after Christmas and New Year, because you knew there was going to be a huge influx of roles coming through. Your inbox was going to be full with candidates who were wanting to make that career move, who'd been sitting over Christmas period thinking, I want to make the change, and they're going to do that. And that's why we can't stress enough, we run the campaign now, Future Proof, which a lot of you would have seen on the website, because we want to get people into those first certifications and working with Sophie's team in the beginning of January to give yourselves the best shot. But as you mentioned, there's recruitment all the time, right? We give you guys lots of tools once you enroll with us to be able to go and find the right opportunities, network correctly. We've just picked up a bit of work with a partner of ours, Sparta Global, who are a hire, train, deploy business, and they're looking to take on 36 Java and cloud specialists through us, all starting at the end of November. So all those types of roles are going to be constantly coming in. So the answer is the best time is now. Getting yourself started, starting on the journey, getting yourself to the certifications is really the best time. But we know January has a big influx and April has a big influx, which ties really nicely into getting started now. 2, 3, 4 months of good solid study, get your exams under your belt, and then you can then go from there.
Just on that as well, if I may, we talked about the Future Proof campaign. We talked about the AI skills that are within our pathways now, and also even the unlimited resits. And the last thing we want for students with exams is to be held back from going to this recruitment drive because they failed an exam and then they're trying to sort of save up money to take the next exam, that kind of thing. But another big part of it is we have aligned our pathways with speed to competency. So getting them to the CompTN Network Plus, for example. So we've got something called the IT Foundation. It's to get them closer and closer to completing that qualification, to give them best opportunity with employers. So it's a big part of it as well.
Definitely. And I think that's exactly right. Just making sure that people have the right levels of competency to be able to get there. Nina, you asked another question around placing people who are, I think, as your question was, based in New York and wanting to move to London. Once you can study this anywhere. All our certifications are globally recognized for that reason. So whether you're staying in another country and studying with us, fantastic. Also, if you are wanting to make a move back, I think, Sophie, we had a really good story of somebody that moved from Australia, where we have another office, and they'd moved to the UK. I think her name was Knox. I think she's on the website as one of our testimonials. So definitely a track record of that with Knox, if you give a little light on that.
Yeah, we've had lots of, we've actually just started working with another student that's transferred from Australia over here. So it's just, I guess for them, it just shows the flexibility of, they've worked with the Australian team, but we understand the market here. So we will be very flexible. Having said that, we work with students all over. So if we've got students from all different countries, and if it is a country that we don't know the market well, we can't know every country well. We're not there, but what we will do is train you and coach you into understanding that market. And if it means that we need to train ourselves a little bit as well, we'll do that research. But yeah, Knox is a great example of someone that did some of the studies in Australia, transferred over, is actually traveling. So she hasn't got a fixed location. So we're currently looking for a remote job. And she's fantastic. So really engaged.
And exactly to your point, that a number of you wanting that work-life hybrid flexibility, the nomad world is there, and we can support that and say we can't be in every country, be experts, but what we can give you is tools that could work really, really effectively. In terms of funding for international students, it is a bit more challenging, being brutally honest, around the funding piece. But Chris is going to come on to the next question, which I've just seen pop up on my screen, that will cover off some of the funding options. My advice, Nina, would be, if you haven't had a consultation, book one in with us, and we can look at all the financing options and then how we can bring that into that. But if we go on to the next question, because that does do that. Isabella sent us one in. Do I have to pay for the courses up front? That'll be tough before Christmas. We know people are trying to juggle priorities of what they allocate their funds to at the moment. And how do you make sure that this Christmas and next Christmas you're in the best possible position? But Chris, could you talk about the different finance options we've got?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this will help answer Nina's question as well. I mean, in short, for the question that we have now, do I have to pay up front? Absolutely not. No, to be honest with you, we've got so many different options available. Part of the consultation again is, we've got to find out what's right for you long term, but also we've got to find out what's right for you short term. We are here to benefit your life, not make it more complicated. Obviously, we also are aware of things like Christmases, holidays, all these different things that come up. So we have various different finance options. We've got 0% deposit options, monthly payments up to 48 months. So definitely the best thing to do is have a consultation with a consultant, and we will find something that works for you. It's rare for us not to find anything that will work for someone. But yeah, have that call and have that conversation first.
Yeah, and that's the point, right? We want to give as many opportunities for as many of our students to make this change now. What we don't want to be doing is you allocating different time and different funding, and you're only starting your journey in January, February, March. We want to make it as accessible to everybody now, whilst juggling the rest of all the financial decisions that you need to make at the moment. But again, echoing what Chris said, have a conversation. We will really tap into what your finances look like, how you can afford it, and be able to give you the most opportunities. And we did have a question on there from, I think it was Anthony, who was talking. I think he's just enrolled with us, but he's got a couple of challenges. What we will do, Anthony, is I will get your student care consultant to get in touch with you. Sounds like you're doing all the right things on the question, but I'll just make sure that they get in touch with you, and we can pick that up. And it sounds like you're going down the right tracks, but we'll make sure that's right for you. Hope put in a question to us. Many of the jobs that you see require 2 to 3 years experience. With a candidate with no experience, how can this challenge be resolved? We touched on it a bit earlier, but Sophie, I don't know if you could maybe just bring that to life.
Sorry, I cut out for a moment. What was it?
So
I can't quite. I think I put myself on mute.
That's right. Most of the jobs require 2 to 3 years experience with a.
Oh yeah. So I mean, yeah, so it depends. It depends what job description. So again, we, as part of our initial phone call, we will talk about exactly what job you want to get into. And a lot of the feedback we get is you need to have 2 to 3 years experience. You don't have to hit 100% of a job application to meet that, to be able to apply. Actually, what a lot of people don't think as well is you are gaining experience from your certifications. So they will say 2 to 3 years experience or equivalent to, and we can build on that for your certifications. So we would look at that job description with you, but as long as you've got, some people don't have any direct experience, and we will place them into a role that says 2 to 3 years experience. So it's just around looking at the different job descriptions that are out there. We do a lot of work through the masterclasses of how we can tailor your CV, tailor your cover letter, network. I truly believe that networking is the most important skill when it comes to job applications. And that is because if someone knows you, irrelevant of your experience, if someone knows what you're doing and what you're looking for, they are far more likely to take a chance on you. So I think a lot of our guidance is around, don't allow yourself to miss an opportunity just because it says it needs 2 to 3 years experience, because actually, based on your certifications, building your network, having conversations with people, and with the experience that you have, you probably do have 2 to 3 years experience, maybe not directly, but with all those transferable skills, you are a fantastic candidate for that role. So we would encourage you to apply with confidence, and our role would be to coach you and support you to do that.
Perfect. So Neil's also just popped another one in terms of Sophie's getting them fired at her now, but so Neil's just questioned, what role can one expect to start without prior experience in project management? Ultimately, you'll probably be going as a project coordinator or a project PMO coordinator. So project management office coordinator would probably be your two most typical ones, Sophie, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, again, with projects, it's gone so far now that there's so many different job titles out there. One project coordinator may be suitable in a different role. Another project coordinator role wouldn't be. You've got project officer, project support officer, project coordinator, junior project manager, all those different job titles. So again, the very, very first thing that we would get you to do is do that research with our support to understand the different job titles. But yeah, absolutely, project coordinator, project officer, all of those roles are going to be more than suitable. But again, different industries have lots of different titles. I think project management, particularly, there are lots of different job titles. But yeah, absolutely, project coordinator would be something we'd be looking towards with you.
Perfect, great. Last poll for all of our participants. So thank you so much for doing them. We could stick up the last one, and while those are coming in, we'll go on to the last pre-sent in questions. So this was sent in by Fatima, probably something that you've all been looking at, been researching other learning providers. Why should I choose the learning people? This is one of my favorite questions of every month's webinar. And I'm going to give us all an opportunity to start. Sophie, you've just been talking loads, so I'm going to give you a break. But Vita, if you want to cover it off first in terms of what you love most about learning people and why people should choose us.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's the people, quite like simply. From the start of your journey, right up until certification, right up until when you're working with Sophie and her team, and even into placement, we are human beings who want to engage with you and really, really do actually want the best success for you. There are so many learning providers out there. I think that is the real key difference for me, in that, you know, when you work with student care, you will get to know your student care consultant on a one-to-one basis. You'll have so many calls throughout that journey, so that you feel really confident actually engaging and building a strong rapport with your career services consultant, and so on and so forth. So for me, it's quite simply, it's just the people.
Sophie?
Yeah, just echoing what Vita said, I think from a career services point of view is we work with, you're going to have the same person from when you initially qualify for career services through to getting that job. And the reason why we do the job is because we absolutely love seeing people get into placements and getting the jobs that they want. We're not going to start talking to you about jobs that you don't want or anything like that. We're very much going to try and place you in a role that you're happy in. But ultimately, what we love to see is the coaching. You know, we have people come to us, haven't applied for a job for a really long time, haven't sat an interview for a really long time, and to be able to see them go there and do that. And that's why we tailor our service. The three of us in our team are just so passionate around seeing you guys change and progress and land the roles that you want to. So I know there's lots of other providers out there, but the support that you get is very one-to-one. You'll join Zoom meetings with us, we'll do interview preparation with us. And, you know, I had someone yesterday, had done all this support, and he's got a job that he's been wanting to have for years and years and years. And the first person he called was me. And I think that just shows an example of, it isn't just we're just having conversations and getting you into a job. Off the help and support and relationship that we had built before he'd even rung his family, he phoned me up and told me he got the job. So you know, it's a great example of the type of relationships that we build, and I can echo that for the rest of the team. We're all very passionate around what we do.
Yeah, definitely. Great. Chris?
Yeah, this is one of the questions that I always like to hear, particularly when I speak to students on the phone. If they ask that sort of question, it shows just how serious they are about making this career change, because they are doing the research, they're looking to other providers that are out there. Again, we can talk about the people, etc. Honestly, one of the best things about my role is seeing where people are starting from and where they end up. It's a massively rewarding part. I mean, there's a reason we've been in the industry for over 15 years now, 98% success rate, placing students into their desired roles, all these different features. If I can talk a bit selfishly about the tech area, I mean, anyone who follows our socials at the moment, they may have seen that we've got a exclusive partnership with the UK Cybersecurity Council. So we're the first and only learning provider to be a member of this professional body or chartered institutes. Now, what this essentially means, and first of all, to give a bit of context, is they are a chartered body for cybersecurity. So they set standards for practitioners, trusted voice as well, work very closely with the UK government, setting those sort of standards. But now students who start with us and have pathways that also contain the CompTIA Security Plus, which I'm sure many tech guys out there would have heard of, but they'll actually be recognised as an associate level professional status with that as well. So that's a really, really exciting part of one of the benefits of rolling on the tech side of things.
And I'll finish it up without sounding like a broken record. It is the people. I think that's why people should enroll with us. We have so many stories. We've just actually had a really successful student, Caleb, who had gone to another provider, had been promised a job guarantee, and unfortunately that job guarantee didn't come to anything for him. But he's now joined up with us. He's been working with Sophie's team. He's already passed his Network Plus exam with us. And he's just the exact type of person that makes us want to come in every day and change people's lives. They get a lot of conversations and a lot of stories around what we can do. But ultimately, the people that I walk through this office and watch everyone in their individual interaction with students is why the big differentiator versus just buying an online course from someone. There's plenty of people that do that. It might work for some people, might not work for others. But ultimately, if you want people to work with you and have a tailored approach, I can't recommend the teams that I work with here enough to do that for you. So just to finish it up, thanks very much for your answers around the last poll. If there's some people who would like to get in touch and have not had a consultation, please drop us a line or get in touch with us here. You can book it there. We just stuck it into the chat. But we hope you found all those useful, all the questions. And if you've got any further questions, feel free to connect with any of us on LinkedIn or get in touch with us via the different routes in terms of socials that we've got out there. But hope it was useful. I hope you all have a great Tuesday and look forward to seeing your names up as students and going through the journey with us. Thanks very much. Bye.